Welcome back to the Making Me Watch Movies podcast. The movie making me watch today was Jake's pick, Train to Busan, South Korean film, not directed by Bong Joon-ho, not starring Song Kang-ho, but equally as good. Jake, you got a word?
Yeah. Yes. Relentless.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Schwartz?
I'm gonna go with Icky.
Icky. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I did. Foreshadowing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Like pretty fun foreshadowing for what happened 5 years later, 4 years later.
Did you watch the sequel already?
No. What's
Neither
the
have I.
sequel?
There's a sequel called Peninsula. It's just like it's just a sequel to this. I think it's like a few years later. It's like kind of like what happens like years after this world's been kind of, because this Train to Busan was essentially the outbreak. Well, actually, there's also a prequel called Soul Station, but it's an animated prequel that came out like the same year as Train to Busan. Yeah, I want to watch both. I haven't gotten either one.
Did I miss something? Was there a zombie outbreak in South Korea? Was that the foreshadowing? Like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
No, just pandemic.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
That's why. Other than the zombie, like the zombies.
Oh,
well,
I thought
this movie was about zombies.
Okay. I thought you meant like
that's what I was saying.
Foreshadowing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it
like
foreshadowed the shit out of itself.
Oh yeah, for sure, within itself. But yeah, it was good. It was yeah, like you said,
the whole thing was a leak from a bio lab. It's not in China, but in Asia.
Yeah. And it hit the deer first, and then like it hit the bats, and then it hit us.
By the way,
Wait,
that
like
fucking deer zombie.
It hit the deer first. Like, was that the? Or that was just? Or you?
I don't know.
Joking?
That was just I mean, it did in the movie. We saw a deer zombie before we saw people zombie. So maybe it started hitting the animal population around the area before it affected the humans.
The deer zombie was
fun.
pretty
Let's
great.
keep making up theories about what could have happened. I think.
Well, it's crazy because it was the movie itself was very confined to just the train and the people in the train. So we don't know what happened outside of the train. Like fucking Korea could be.
We saw
fucked.
It
so
is
that's kind of
we saw the news footage and stuff.
Yeah, so that's kind of I think that's why they did like the sequel too. So it's like they kind of give a bigger picture of what happened.
Also, this movie made like $10 billion, so of course
it did make a lot of money, right? But deservingly so. It's a fucking good movie.
It was relentless.
It was relentless.
And
Relentless with action, fears, emotions. It just kept you going, man.
As most zombie movies go, the ambiguousness of exactly what happened is always the fun part too. Killing, that's always something to guess, whether it be a meteor or a virus outbreak or a rage fucking outbreak. It's always cool to keep it a tiny bit ambiguous.
Right. There's always implications, but we never truly know what happened. This was some sort of chemical deal. So
chemical leak. Now, am I wrong and did the main guy start the whole thing?
That was one of the questions I had, because when his assistant was like, "Is this my fault?" I was like, "Oh wait." So obviously they had something to do with it in general. Like I guess where he was an investment guy, right? So maybe the company that started the leak, he did something for, like lubed a deal or
remember in the beginning happen. He was looking at like dead fish and stuff. Was that connected?
It must have been. I didn't see that.
1 billion dead fish found in somewhere in South Korea.
Yeah, it seemed like he was somehow related to the company that would have been responsible if that was what happened.
Once that came into my head, that's what I was thinking as well. I was like, this guy's got to die at the end. There's no way this guy's making it out.
All right, so real quick, Jake, why don't you just summarize what this movie is real quick, just so people know?
Okay, cool. I will. It's a, like you said, it's a South Korean zombie film. Mostly takes place on a train. It kind of follows the story. The main character is pretty much this, like you guys were saying, this kind of investment banker guy who has a daughter. And his daughter, it's like kind of a trying relationship with his daughter because he's a single father. The girl's daughter lives in Busan. He lives in Seoul. So the daughter needs to go back to Seoul for, I think it's her birthday. And,
to see her mother.
To see her mother. And originally he wasn't even going to go with her. And he kind of got guilted into going on the train with her. So this is like the story of their trip. Dad. Yeah, essentially he was a bad dad in the beginning, kind of very money driven, very selfish. And like a lot of the things he did, a lot of his actions just showed that he was a selfish guy. And that was definitely like a big part of the story going forward with this movie. Like, I think this was one of those movies that definitely a coming of age within itself of that character. And then, but on top of that, it was full of just like fun and scary moments. Cause the once the zombie broke out, the zombie breakout essentially happened once they boarded the train. And like I said, it's a confined story to the train for the most part. And
I liked how they did that. I like how, the whole story's on the train, but the first thing we see was everyone loading onto the train, and then the very last person to get on the train is a fucking zombie, right? Or she just, well, I don't know. Everyone changes at their own goddamn rate, so she could have just gotten bit, or she could have gotten bit 4 weeks ago, and it's just now changing.
Right. I question that too, because it seemed like everyone on the train pretty much like transformed like.
If you were a main character, quickly. It took you longer. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, and like jumping forward, like I thought maybe like, oh, maybe she got bit in some sort of area where it wouldn't have been so bad, like a hand. But obviously later on, you see people getting bit in the hand, and they're zombies within a couple minutes. And it seemed like she took a good 20, 30 minutes or so to transform. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Movie time was only a few minutes.
She got bit somewhere outside of the train. We don't know how long she was there before. But on the train, she was then there for like 20 minutes before she actually turned and then attacked train attendants?
Yeah, train attendant.
So one thing I did like about this movie a lot is this movie kind of took its own way with zombies. See in the dark.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I mean, I think it was a device for them to like kind of help move the story forward. I guess make them not as like threatening as they needed to be. I think you got to have a weakness. Like sometimes zombies are just too fucking like perfect. Like these,
I like that they were fast.
I gave them a little weakness.
I like that they were fast and they were vicious. They were like 28 day zombies.
Yeah. And they reminded me a little bit of at times like the World War Z style of like, they would like come at each other so fast they would hit each other and get like little waves.
But wasn't World War Z all CG zombies?
I think so. I'm not sure. I wasn't a big fan of that one, but just like the appearance of like at least when like that moment of like it happened a couple of times when there was just a bunch of zombies rushing together and like how they just piled up and they had like a little wave action going. Mm-hmm. That kind of shit reminded me of World War Z, which I thought was a cool effect.
Yeah.
Did I break up before?
A little bit.
Well, you did a little bit. You were.
Did you hear what I said though about the scene in the dark?
No, not the scene in the dark fully.
No, I think this movie took a couple liberties with zombies and kind of just like what I mean by that is just kind of added its own like ideas to what zombies can and can't do. So the whole thing about them not being able to see in the dark is something I've never seen before in a zombie movie, which was actually a pretty cool way of getting the story to go forward and helping them move up the train. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what that came from. They're like, how the fuck are we going to get them to be able to move up this train? And maybe they're like, oh, well, what if they can't see in the dark?
Yeah, what if every time they hit a tunnel, they're able to move somehow? Yeah. I can see how that evolved into an idea, but I still think it's kind of dumb.
I mean, I don't think it matters with a zombie movie. Saying that's dumb in a zombie movie is like Jake saying that things are wrong with Face Off. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You can't really. There's not many rules. You know, you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
So Jake, I knew this was before we go forward, is this better than Face Off?
Yes, this is better than Face Off in my opinion. I think this is a lot better written. The story is a lot better. The story, it's not necessarily believable, but yeah, it goes back to your argument of like, and I've said this argument before, you have to accept a movie for what it is. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'll just get this out of the way. I was gonna bump up Face Off a couple spots on my ranking.
So it's above Citizen Kane now?
No, it was above Citizen Kane the whole time. Remember my famous soundbite? It's probably a meme at this point. Is that Face Off is better than Citizen Kane? Yeah, that I admitted that, but I also put it under. He just
repeats it over and over.
Yeah, I also put it under Deep Red, and I put it under Border, which I'm gonna put it above those two movies, Face Off. Because here's why.
Oh, tell me why.
It's
Hold on.
It's the more
All right, I'm
entertainment.
ready.
It's the entertainment value. It's just it was more entertaining. That was it. I'd rather it goes back to I'd rather watch Face Off above Border or Deep Red again, because while I thought Border and Deep Red had better stories and better plots, this was just more entertaining, and that outweighed it. So there, it's out now at 34. So
I feel like we need like
guesser.
a ranking, not a ranking system, but like a scoring system for movies, like entertainment 1 through whatever, just fucking dumbness, script, whatever. We can think of like 5, and then
like a star rating
that should tell us how if we're gonna recommend the movie or not. Because it's like I like this movie because our list is hard to tell, especially if it's almost 50 movies now. It'd be nice if we were like, well, why'd you like this a little better? Because I just thought it was more entertaining.
It gets hard because there's some spots I'm like 3 spots up. I'm like, well, I'd rather watch this movie than that movie. So it's like,
all right, so we'll just
start
over.
To rank
we'll start over, go back to Deep Red, and here we'll just stop this right now. We'll go. I'm kidding.
Show's canceled.
Show's canceled. All right, so cool. You think
right,
you still hate Face Off?
I still don't love Face Off because the dialogue is trash and the storyline is pretty ridiculous, but it's ridiculous enough to be fun and entertaining.
I get that you think the dialogue's trash, but we don't know that the dialogue's not trash in this movie.
No, I thought that too. I'm like, I bet he's gonna say that.
We don't.
It totally. No, you're totally right. It totally right.
It works because we're reading it.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Speaking of that, one thing I hated about the subtitles is in the end when he calls his or not in the end, at some point in the movie, it might have happened multiple times, when he calls his ex-wife, the subtitle says on the thing ex-wife, and I was like, that's not what it fucking says on his phone. It doesn't say ex-wife.
It might.
You know what I mean? I was kind of like, that's stupid.
I mean, maybe it did, and then if you saw that in Korean, you'd be like, this is a dumb fucking movie.
or he just hates his ex-wife so much he doesn't even like fucking write her name in his phone. He's like, oh, this bitch, I'll just write ex-wife.
One guy was called Lemmings in there. What's Lemmings?
Right. I don't know. Is that a name?
It was the whole thing about how he was just a kind of a dick all the time. That's been done time. I think it could have been a little better if it was done in a different way.
Can you repeat that all over again?
I said the only thing I didn't like about this movie storyline is the whole dad being too busy thing. I mean, it's not very original. So that's the only thing I would say is kind of lacking in the storyline. I think it was necessary to have the restrained relationship, and I guess with a kid, I'm saying the fact that the dad storyline was that he wasn't attentive was just not very original.
Well,
yeah, it's like Liar Liar all over again.
Yeah, it's just a prequel to Liar Liar.
It's like Liar Liar on a train.
Yeah.
With zombies.
With COVID.
I guess so, in a way.
I thought
what? Go ahead.
I said I thought the dude and his pregnant wife storyline was my favorite. I thought they were the best.
Thank God for buff Jackie Chan and his wife there. Kicking ass, answering questions, taking names, wrapping up wrists, and beating down zombies. That guy was awesome. Him and his wife too. His wife was solving problems too. His wife, his wife, everyone's sitting there and the door's open. And his wife's the only one who's like, I'll fucking go shut the door, I guess. Pregnant lady, here you go. They were awesome. That dude was awesome. When he died, I was pissed. Spoiler, he dies.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. He basically had to teach the main dad to fucking just be a better person.
And see, and that's why he
learned from him. I know.
Yeah, that's why he died. It was that reason alone right there.
Everyone died except for the pregnant. 3 people survived. Hopefully, maybe only 2. We don't really know.
I think she
could still have a stillborn.
Oh yeah, the baby, the inner baby.
That was very traumatic for a pregnancy. I don't want to put that out there for her.
I thought about that in the end when they were walking down that tunnel. I was like, man, I hope that baby's okay.
Right. almost fucking got shot, but she sang the song.
Yo, I'm
Saved
not
the
gonna
world.
lie. If that movie ended with them getting shot, I would have fucking loved it.
I would have loved it.
Oh, but
I
It
would
would've
have
been
absolutely
amazing.
loved it. Or at least
I would have
one of
been
them.
like,
Take the
been like-
daughter out.
I would have been like, oh my god, that's probably what really would have happened.
Take the daughter. Just you just see the trigger because it just was hot. It was hot on its trigger, like close up on its trigger. You just see that click, and then it just goes to black.
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
That would have been great. Now, why is she singing? Why is she singing? It's a zombie thing, and they know that they're attracted to noise. Why is she singing?
She's singing because otherwise that bitch would have been dead. Otherwise,
She
that
didn't know
movie would be
that.
over
They
5
didn't
minutes
know.
faster.
Number one, they shouldn't have gotten off the train. Number two, they shouldn't have gone through the tunnel. Number three, she shouldn't have been singing. They should both be dead.
but she sang the song that saved him. It's the song that she was afraid to sing in the beginning of the movie. It came full circle. It was beautiful. You cried.
Wasn't
Admit you cried.
beautiful. So
Admit
I
you-
cried.
you-
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's, if you cry, that means the movie's good.
It does not. That just means
does.
I have loose tear ducts.
You got emotional. It's fine.
I
got
may
emotional.
not be a smart man, Jenny.
I
but
maybe
know
cried
what love
twice.
is.
When'd you cry? When'd you cry? When the dad was like, "Oh my God, I'm an asshole," but I used to be. Well, let's talk about the real asshole. There was a real bad guy on that fucking train.
Yeah.
The owner of Union Pacific or whoever the fuck that guy
Yep.
was.
And he was the portrait of what the dad was to become if he didn't go through this
Oh.
fucking beautiful transformation.
So he had to know him.
Message.
He had to meet him.
It's the message. That's the message.
He said, "I
Thank-
could either be buff Jackie Chan or fucking
Yeah.
Korean Donald Trump."
The buff Jackie Chan guy is named Ma Dong Suk, or he also goes by Don Lee.
My
That guy's a
dong,
fucking
dude.
badass.
He's
like
the whole time I
known
was
for,
like,
like,
I bet this
gangster
guy's a
movies.
Korean wrestler, and that's why Jake loves this movie.
No, he's just in like a bunch of Korean gangster movies. He's in the I was told you about earlier, the gangster, the cop, the devil, fucking sweet movie.
GCD.
He's in that. He's in that as the gangster. He plays the gangster.
GCD, baby.
Yeah,
Remember when
but that guy's-
GCD and Eminem were feuding? Whew,
yeah.
what a crazy.
But I'm gonna watch more of this dude's movies because I've only seen him in these two, and he's a fucking badass. But if it was for him, that everyone basically that guy saved everybody.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for that
said,
guy, everyone would have been fucking dead.
my dong, dude. Well, if it wasn't for the pilot, the train pilot, the captain, the conductor. Is it a conductor or is it a driver?
Conductor, I think.
The conductor? I thought the
No.
conductor was the guy that's like, last call, all aboard. That's what he says.
Did you call him a train pilot?
Train driver.
I was like, a train pilot?
They're all
Alright.
the same thing, dude. You know what I'm talking about. The conductor, he's the one that saved the day. He got the other train going. He jumped off to help others. He sacrificed himself. Like, not enough emphasis is put on that guy. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of his story.
That's true. You get any of his story.
What's
Nothing.
cool about zombie movies is that if you want to make prequels, sequels, or whatever, you can literally just, like you said, just do the same thing but show someone else's point of view because everybody got there in different ways. So that'd actually
would
be a
be-
cool way to do
What
it.
if there was like a series of 4 or 5 movies that it was literally the same timeline, but just from different point of views?
Yeah, that's Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and Day of the Dead.
There's basically I think a movie Schwartz
that-
was gonna pick
that what they're
later
doing?
is kind of like that too, but not a zombie movie. Never mind.
Hey, let me just go fuck myself.
Please. go
You
ahead.
need to watch your zombie movies, bro.
We'll
Sorry I didn't watch
we'll wait,
fucking-
we'll wait.
The original zombie movies, they're not that good.
No,
Um,
the early ones aren't that great.
Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead are great movies. Night of the Living Dead is a great movie in its own right. I can see
Shaun
how
of
it's a
the
little
Dead.
boring.
Shaun of the Dead's great.
Shaun of
is
the
great.
Dead is like just an homage to those movies.
It's the
So-
best zombie movie I can think of off the top of my head right now.
The best zombie movie, in my opinion, is 28 Days Later.
But that's not as nearly as hilarious as Shaun of the Dead.
I think I like Shaun of the Dead the most, and then this movie is probably one of my favorite zombie movies now.
This is a good movie. I liked the whole
This is
being on
good
a train
movie.
and trying to get to the other cars thing. That's always fun. Like when they were
Yeah.
crawling in the racks, the luggage racks, and the zombies were like, "Yeah, where do we go? It's dark in here." That was pretty cool.
What was cool is it was on a train. I've never seen that before. That's cool. And they thought of every possible weird thing that could happen on a train. Every like the scenarios that they came up with working from a train as their main platform, it was epic. And there was great shots. Like I thought the camera work was pretty great in a lot of parts. I thought there's just the set pieces. Some of the set pieces. My favorite one was when they crashed the trains. When that train came flying in, the pilot from the first train got into the second train, started it out, and he just looks forward, and there's a fucking another train coming his way on fire. Zombie train coming on fire. Like Nicolas Cage and Ghost Dad or whatever that fucking motorcycle movie is.
Yeah. Like there's some great action moments in this
Ghost
movie.
Dad 3.
And when they crash and the two trains are like this, A-framed, like and they're all underneath and they're all through the windows. That was probably my favorite part. Yeah, I was just like, it's just they're in front, they're in back, they're coming through the windows. How they get out of here? But they did. Not all of them. Fuck
yeah,
that,
it was that homeless guy that saved him too, or like at least like sacrificed himself.
I love that homeless guy lasted so long.
Yeah, there's a whole like undertone of the movie with like the classist system too, if you look at it, because it's like the rich fucking dude is the one that kind of fucks everyone over. Like the homeless guy in the beginning of the movie is the one who like was the one who's trying to warn him, but they're like, this guy's fucking crazy, fuck this guy. And then it's the
I wouldn't listen to that guy.
Yeah, right. It's
that's not new to zombie movies. I mean, even the Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, that's all like a thing on American society and the way people are treated. That's all that. That's kind of what George Romero was sneaking into there. Like you can read about that. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of interviews.
I'm not gonna read about that.
Well, you should.
This is the first movie that's ever thought of that.
Anthony, have you seen Snowpiercer?
Snowpiercer.
No,
that's the train one with Song Kang-ho.
Well, yeah, it was Song Kang-ho and Bong Joon-ho also
Song
directed
Kang-ho
that.
was on a train. I thought that was this one.
And
Bong Joon-ho directed that.
Yeah, that's a Bong Joon-ho Song Kang-ho combo. It's just beautiful. Everything about those two are great. It's a great movie.
What's it about?
It takes place in the future where somehow there was like some sort of like disaster where there was like a climate shift to like basically like make everything freeze.
And they live on the train, right?
And like it's just these people that live on this train. It's like a society that's just constantly living on a train.
Captain America's in it.
It's wild. It's a wild movie, dude. It's great.
Now is that the one that's all rotoscope with Tom Hanks?
No, that's the Polar Express. It's another train movie.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Robert Zemeckis classic.
I think this one's better. Snowpiercer probably better than this, but it's my opinion.
Train movies. What other train movies are there?
Throw Mama from a Train. I don't know. Is that only on a train?
Danny DeVito classic.
Oh, what's
Sting?
the
No, not the Sting. Strangers, Perfect Strangers.
Strangers
on a Train.
Alfred Hitchcock classic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that a Hitchcock?
It is
Hitchcock. Yep.
100%.
Yeah, Strangers on a Train.
There was a rumor after Gone Girl came out that David Fincher was going to remake it and call it Strangers on a Plane with Brad Pitt and Edward Norton reuniting them from Fight Club.
I'm sick and tired of these motherfucking strangers.
That would be
this motherfucking plane.
That'd be pretty amazing if
it'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
There was a recent murder train movie. I think it was called Murder on a Train or Murder Express.
Murder on the Orient Express. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fucking train movie.
It's a remake. It's a remake of an old movie written by Agatha Christie, but Kenneth Branagh. Same thing. Murder on the Orient Express.
The Branscape.
But this is new one is a Branagh directed and starred in version.
Damn. Relax.
You go, Branagh. He was good in Tenet. You guys see Tenet? He was good in that.
No, I don't watch bad movies.
I haven't seen Tenet yet. No. Is it bad?
No, it's good.
If it's bad.
It's way better than I thought it was gonna be. When I saw the trailer, I was like, "What is this? Inception Part 2?" But it's actually.
What is this? What is this? World War Z on a train?
That's kind of what this was.
I think this does rank pretty high on the zombie list, though, just because it's got so many unique things I've never seen. I think it's way better than World War Z in general. World War Z wasn't that good of a movie, in my opinion.
I don't really remember plot points from World War Z. I remember they went to Israel.
Yeah.
You know, what really would be the best zombie movie of all time if it would have been done differently is I Am Legend. If those zombies were practical people,
So you're saying
CGI, it'd be the best movie ever.
If a bad movie was good, then it would have been a good movie. Is that what you're trying to say?
No,
I'm saying that if
graphics were better,
if the zombies weren't CGI and they were real people, that would have been an amazing movie. It would have been way.
They should have just waited, because I feel like this was a good. These zombies were all 90% practical, I would guess, with a lot of CGI enhancements, especially when there was like a million of them. I imagine they probably used CGI. And then when they were all like jumping on the train, when they were getting away, that was another one of my favorite scenes, is when it was the fucking, I mean, everything leading up to it. It was the A-frame thing, or when they're all stuck under the thing. And they get out, the homeless guy saves them, the dad digs under, and then in the other train, the two baseball kids, and the baseball dude and the girl, they're going through, and then that fucking other dude, the super bad guy, throws the girl straight to the zombies, and then he stays with her, and then he jumps, then he throws the pilot to the zombies, then he gets on the train, then they get on the train, and then they're like, think they're getting away, and then all the zombies start climbing on and holding on to it, and then they just start piling on. I thought it was going to stop the train. I thought that would have been epic if it just
it was almost doing that.
That was cool.
Yeah,
I imagine that was a little CG.
Yeah,
so if they would have just done I Am Legend today, they probably could have gotten away with better CG.
Yeah,
they would have known that too much is too much.
I like the aerials in this movie a lot too. There were some great drone shots, which were definitely enhanced by CGI when they were showing like the town blowing up and the
train yard.
Oh yeah, that's why this movie is just good. There's just so much going on. Like all the little storylines that are like all coming together. Just the separating like of the characters. Like I think my favorite part was honestly their first stop about midway through the movie, maybe like a third of the way in, like where they stopped at the one, and they thought the military was like had occupation of it, but once they got there, they realized the whole fucking military were at that point now zombies. Like that shit was wild. Like just kind of the gravity of the situation. Yeah, and then them getting back onto the train was intense. Like just the different, like how they all had to get split up in their own ways. Like how the girl almost fucking got killed, but luckily Don Lee,
holding the door shut.
The badass fucking grabbed it, and like everyone, I don't know, just how they all split up.
They busted through the glass. That was pretty scary when they were all
like,
yeah. And then they just
definitely a CG part there with just like the hordes of zombies dumping out of the glass.
It ranks high for me on zombie movies. I have to admit.
No,
times I was like, this sucks. But that was like twice.
No, I really have an appreciation for the logistics of this movie too, as far as the filmmaking aspect of it, like the editing of this movie to make sure you know where everyone is on the train and how those stories are intersecting and how this guy's doing this is leading to this character with this and that. Like that was done really, really well. I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, very, very complete, very cohesive.
Yeah, like the part that actually surprised me the most was the old lady's story when the old lady fucking opens the door in the end and lets the zombies in. Like I get what that was doing and that she was regretting things, but like that was just a little unnecessary.
That was the
little unnecessary
part. When they wouldn't let those people in. So at the very end, they're coming up from behind. They're like in 9. They had to get to 15 after they saved their family in 13. So they go in and they're like, we can't let the fucking scumbag dude. He's like, we can't let them in. They're infected. They lock the doors, and then they start pounding on the doors. At that point, you're like, well, we don't want them to break the doors, so let's let them in, would be my thinking. But no, they let them break the doors down. And then they put them And then they separate them, but they separate them like over there. Like, all right, we're going to stay kind of safe and we're going to make you guys super safe, but away from us. And then they die. I just thought, I mean, I get that I get why. Again, like the darkness things. I get story-wise why all that happened, and I loved it. I love that they got their comeuppance, as they would say, when when the old lady opened that door and killed everybody. But you know, that was just kind of that's not thinking good. Those people weren't thinking good.
Well, you know what it is? I feel like they're in a situation that is so fucking crazy and that they've never been in before. And I think everybody, as the longer you're in that situation, is going to kind of learn something about yourself and maybe change things about yourself. The one thing I think watching every zombie movie about myself is I'd be dead. Can't fucking run that fast.
You do. You just got to run faster than somebody else, dude.
Yeah, but still, like, not when there's 40 fucking zombies coming. That's fucking like everyone's coming. That's like
you
the
feel
fucking.
like you'd be like the dude. You just be throwing people behind you.
Well, see, that's another thing about this movie that I thought was different with zombies is in other movies, no one really throws zombies around and zombies kind of just lay there. That was the one thing about this I thought was kind of weird. Like, no one really beats up zombies in movies. And in this movie they did, which was a cool aspect. But at the same time, I also didn't like it. I liked that they were beating up zombies and cracking zombies' necks. That was cool. But I also was like, I don't know. Like, I also was kind of dumb.
How does this end? It's not because it's not like you're gonna beat a zombie to death. Like,
that's what I mean.
What are you gonna break its arm off and it's gonna be done for the day?
They were just trying to. They were just trying to get through.
But they were. That's all they were doing.
They didn't need to kill him. They needed to get past him.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It was almost is a distraction as much as anything of just trying to get through. Yeah. Which was cool. I thought it was awesome when they
and again
wrapped up and badass Madong. He's like, let's do this. And he was right. I mean, the kid has a baseball bat. The hedge fund manager has a shield and a baton, and he's just
right here.
Fists. Right. It was great.
Love those scenes. Just the few times they had to do it, they're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah. That was epic. And they all showed their fucking salt in the situation, except for the kid when he had to beat up his friends, but then they figured out that they could just sneak past him in the dark. It was kind of when you were saying being good, you liked how they kept everyone, you knew where everyone was, what everyone was doing. It kind of reminded me of the Final Destination movies where they're just bouncing back and forth between everyone in the same scene. And then, you know, something happens. It's different in that, you know, they all die in Final Destination, but
yeah.
I was thinking that, especially in like the first one when they're in the airplane, they just kind of keep going. Everyone's loading on, and they're just going from person to person. But I like that too. I like how they introduced everyone. I was like, I can't wait to see all these baseball kids fight zombies with baseball bats. Like, that's gonna happen. That's gonna be great. Can't wait to see this big buff dude get down with some zombies. That's gonna be great. I loved how nice he was. I loved how like he would do anything for his wife. He was like, little girl, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The characters were such like a good driving part of this movie. Like just all the different people, like it's all added to it all really well.
So if you were gonna trade two actors out with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, who would they be?
I think Travolta would have been a good dad, and then Nicolas Cage would have been like the old man,
the bad guy.
The bad guy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Same thing. Nicolas Cage, the bad guy, because I don't know. None of them are gonna be. I don't know. None of them are gonna be Madong, dude.
Either way, I could go other way around with that too. Nicolas Cage could have been a good like frantic father. And then like Travolta could have been the old. Actually, I like that. Nicolas Cage is the frantic father, and then just Travolta as just this like evil old like John Gotti motherfucker.
He played John Gotti.
I know.
Oh yeah, I heard that was a really great movie.
I heard it was terrible. I never saw it.
Do you know who directed that movie? Kevin Connolly, the dude from Entourage.
Oof.
Matthew Davidson directed that movie.
Have you seen this movie called I think it's called Maniac or something like that? It's with
Elijah Wood?
No, it's with John Travolta. Maybe it's not. Oh yeah, that's the. Let me pull up Travolta.
So the Elijah Wood Maniac is a remake of an old ass movie called Maniac from like the 70s, like a slasher film. By the way, Anthony, did you watch Christmas?
No, not yet.
Gotta watch it.
The
will.
Fanatic. The Fanatic is
Oh
the
yeah,
movie.
directed by Fred Durst.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yep.
Wait, Fred Durst, like the
Fred
murderer?
Durst of Limp Bizkit directed a
Oh,
movie
from-
with John
that
Travolta. Like,
Yeah. It's
Terrible.
it's something else, man. It's so bad. Like it
Yeah.
almost worth watching bad.
off.
Yeah, I got nothing else for Train to Busan. I liked it. I hope coronavirus doesn't turn into zombies. Although it kind of is. Like, you don't want to be near people when they're coming
I was
after
like,
you. You
ugh.
kind of run away, you know?
Yeah, everyone has cooties. You don't know who people are. Strangers, I'm just like, yeah.
I feel like Jake, you probably have more to say about this movie. I feel like there's something you haven't said.
I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot, man.
You gotta have something else.
You got to have something. When I fucking go do that, you got
What
to
about
come
the
with something
camera work?
gold.
I thought the camera work was cool. I thought
You
there
gotta
was
give me
very,
gold, Golden.
I thought there was
yeah.
very good use of reflections. A lot of really cool reflective shots in the mirror, in the bathroom, in the very
Yeah.
beginning, when they were driving through town through the windows of his car was really cool. Seeing things burning in the background. I loved that we were at the perspective of the girl. A lot of the times it was just a terrifying perspective to be at. She'd come out of the bathroom and we're just looking up at everything. And I thought that was a really cool thing. I thought the cameras moving through the cabs, however they were doing that. I think I saw some behind the scenes where they had the camera hung for some of the things, like coming down from the racks. They did the where the camera strapped on the body. I love that, of the zombies. So like reverse point of view, which is always fucking terrifying. I thought it was a lot of creative. What was the budget for this movie? I know it made a lot of money, but it had to have a big budget, no?
Yeah, it must have.
It's huge. I couldn't find that on IMDb.
No. What about the Wikipedia? Take a look.
You know I don't trust Wikipedia. That's
It's
some
true.
liberal fake news bullshit. Dude.
Anyone could have done that. Budget
Message.
according to Wikipedia. So, take this with a grain of salt. It was 8.5 million, that's pretty.
8 million was their budget?
Yeah, that's pretty small. Yeah, and then they made box office 98 point. So they made $90 million.
You got to look at it like this though. So this was shot in South Korea. So filming something there is much cheaper for
What's
labor.
that supposed to mean?
It's much cheaper to make a movie in South Korea than it is America, and
We'll
to
see.
close places off to get all those aerials and shit is much cheaper and easier to do too.
And it was all set in a train.
Yeah,
True.
most of this was shot. I bet you 90% of the interiors was on a stage. All the train interiors, they weren't moving on a train; they were shooting.
That's what I was actually just about to ask. Do you think it was on an actual train? Because
I think some of it was. I think some of it was, and then probably the stuff that where it was like the fighting in the side was probably all on a stage.
The director of movies, like, I got access to a train and $8 million. Let's fucking make a movie.
Well, he was an animation director first, so I think he was just like taking one of his animations and making
Is that what
it.
you said?
Yeah, he did a lot of animations before this.
Is this his first live action?
Yeah. Is it? It might be. I think it's maybe first or second.
I think it is.
Oh wow!
But he definitely started like his first few
good
directing
story's a good
credits
story.
or animation. Yeah, and that was another thing with this movie. It does have a great story. I think it did.
It had a better story than most zombie movies do. I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I Am Legend was a good story. Like I said, I don't even remember World War Z. And most other zombie movies are just people surviving. It's less than there was a like. I like that they were always moving, literally always moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
always moving forward.
The survival rate was not high on this one.
I think
the weakest character.
I think my favorite.
It's interesting choice.
In the movie is when the helicopter fly and the zombies are on it and they fall off the helicopter and get up and start attacking people. That was fucking awesome.
Right. Yeah, that shit was cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was in the beginning.
Was that the military dropping zombies?
No, I think that was
infecting the world.
I think it was a military helicopter trying to get away, and the zombies were attacking it, and they were on it still. But maybe they were dropping zombies. That would make it way cooler.
Maybe that's how it started. They're like, we're sick of this fucking town, dude. So, yeah, that I guess that question's not really. We don't know how all of Korea is in this. Like, obviously, Busan was secured,
Right.
but were they infected at all? Was the whole place infected? Did it stem from where they were coming from? I kind of wanted to know more answers. I guess I could watch the sequel.
Yeah, that they did keep it kind of
Peninsula.
to a narrowed scope of like we only knew the information from what the characters within knew.
We
But I
only knew
like
what
that.
we needed to know.
Yes, precisely.
We didn't need to know much.
do it.
There's some
So I guess
fucked up
that's
shit
I guess
going
that's
down.
why this. I guess
We're
that's
in
why I did a
train
sequel
9,
to
and we got to get to 15.
see it all.
I liked it. Good zombie movie.
I liked it too.
Good zombie movie. I want to watch more movies with my dog in it.
Dude, the gangster, the cop, the devil. You got to watch it. It's fucking great.
Gangster Cop and Devil. We should do that movie next.
Should.
That new Denzel movie came out, Fences.
It's out now.
Not Fences.
Fences. The little
Fences
ones.
is out.
Or the little things. The little things.
Little thing.
That's out now.
It'll be out the 29th on HBO.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
So as of this recording, it's not, but it'll definitely be out when
As of
more
you
people
listening
hear
to this, it'll certainly be out.
Davidson. Danny.
Davidson, have you seen it yet? You probably have.
Shout out to the big cat.
Listen to the next episode, Davidson. Why aren't you listening to the next episode, Davidson?
Just, come on, man.
Why are you still listening to this one? Oh, because we haven't ranked it yet.
Ah, that's right.
And the rankings go to... You know what we need is a gold standard movie. We need a movie. We either each need a movie or I guess we do. It's our number one movies. That is just the best at everything. And then we can rate off of that.
Right.
You know, it's not, I guess that is kind of what we're doing.
I mean, we're coming up on like 50 movies. We could like start like a new chapter.
I think we need to
or
change.
something.
I think we need to
What does that
change
mean?
something.
In what way? Change what?
I don't know.
Change the way we rank or look at the
change
look
our
at things.
mats up from Schwartz to Davidson.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Get
You
a
heard it here
non-vegan
first.
on here. Make it a one-man show. I don't know.
You're gonna make yourself watch movies?
Welcome back. Today we watched Departed again.
I guess it still could work as called making me watch.
Making me watch movies. What are you making me watch today, Anthony? Departed. Let's do it.
You do the whole thing as you and Ray the whole time. It's just you yelling in the background.
Just need always off.
Hey, Ray, what are we watching today? Hey, Ray.
Departed.
Anyway,
Says Departed.
yeah, where are you guys ranking
Love
this?
that movie.
Where are you ranking this?
Right. I don't know. What movie is this? Busan?
Train to
Certainly
Busan.
not as good as Lake Placid.
This is now our 48th
right.
movie.
I know. I got my ranking. You want
Where
it?
you got it? Where's
I'm
it at?
going number 22.
22 for Schwartz.
Above border, below brick.
Above border, below
Shout out to Brick.
Boo, brick.
Boo, Brick.
Boo,
Brick ain't
Kevin
listening to this
Brickwadell.
shit.
You are a F
Brick's out
word.
taking pictures.
All right. 22 for Schwartz.
I bet Brick's
22
favorite
out
movie is
of
Royal
48.
Tenenbaums.
That's your favorite movie. According to the list.
Maybe
Just
not.
saying. I'm going number
Just saying,
12.
just saying.
Number 12
okay.
for me.
All right.
Yeah, right under Prisoners. 'Cause Prisoners, to me, the story was more gripping and intense. But right above Basic Instinct. Even though I really like Basic Instinct, but
Basic Instinct's a great flick.
it is great. But Train to Busan just pressed all the right buttons for me.
All the right buttons.
Yeah.
It's because
Maybe-
it had action and scary and goriness in it as well as a good story.
It had good stories. It had good action. It had, good things to connect with. Good
Basically,
zombies.
this is like Boyhood on a Train.
Yeah, and it was Korean, so that probably helps it a lot.
Yeah.
The South Korean.
I think it helps it. It helps us not realize that it's probably just as cheesy in Korean as it would be in the United States. If
Man,
it was
What's
English
cheesy?
American.
You're calling a zombie movie cheesy? That's like calling Face Off cheesy.
I'm just saying, if it was an American movie made in America and it was all in English and it was all the same words that they were saying in South Korean,
I wouldn't be upset.
It would be
if they did
that. Would be like, I bet we'd think it was a little cheesier. You know what I'm saying? I just think that what is lost in translation is any possible cheesy, like any cheesy dialogue. I guess
cheesy gordita crunch.
Something that you would. It's lost in the translation. Something you would know, like we were saying in the beginning. If we spoke Korean, the dialogue would probably be a little cheesier. We'd probably think the dialogue was a little cheesier. That's my theory. It's not a fact. It's just a hypothesis.
Oh, you're a hypothesizer now?
I'm a hypothesizer. I've hypothesized since I was 6 years old.
Well, it's a lot of hypothesizing.
It's pretty smart, dude. Whatever.
Where you put
this high? I'm
putting Pick a fucking number.
I'm going number 9. It's better than Pan's Labyrinth.
Nice.
I don't agree, but nice. It's not better than Howard Maud either, but nice.
Do you get it? Just Koreans make better movies.
Hey, rank it, baby.
I enjoy Korean movies.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
But I enjoyed this movie because what was Shoplifters Korean? I can't remember.
Japanese.
Okay. So far the Japanese have not impressed me. We need another Japanese movie. Let's watch a samurai movie.
13 Assassins was Japanese, and that's high on your list. We should watch it. I would be down with another.
I'm gonna go.
Samurai movie, though.
I'm gonna revamp the list a little bit and add the countries of origin because I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I dig it.
C of O, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Clones.
Hmm?
Attack of the Clones.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
Attack of the Clones.
I think that's it. Watch this movie. It's fun. It's great. Give it a shot.
If you like zombie movies and your favorite form of transportation is locomotive, this is the one for you.
This is just another example of why Koreans make better movies. So check it out. Might be one of the best zombie films ever.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Me Watch Movies. Do you agree that Train to Busan is one of the best zombie movies of all time? Let us know on our official Making Me Watch Movies Instagram, MMwM_podcast. Next week's movie is going back in time a little bit. It is by our old friend Stanley Kubrick. Paths of Glory, 1957, available on Amazon Prime. Watch that, then listen to us next week on Making Me Watch the Movies. Shout out to the big cat.
All right, are you gonna end this or what? We had a great out, and then Anthony goes into more shit. We had a great out. We did.